If you're a musician and you've been struggling to raise your rates, perhaps you're wondering how you can ethically change your prices and still preserve the integrity of your offer and make sure that your students are being served and feel confident about the value of your services. This episode is for you. I'm going to be outlining some strategies to give you the confidence and clarity on how, when you package your skills strategically and you learn how to get results faster for your clients, you are more than justified to increase your rates and to create a completely new value proposition because you can help your clients get results faster. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Musicians Creating Prosperity podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Fabiana Claure, and today we're going to talk about why it's more than okay to raise your rates when you reinvent your music business. One of the things that I've seen musicians struggle with when it comes to creating higher price points for their businesses is this notion that they are arbitrarily changing their prices without the proper value behind the new product. And here's why I want you to change your conception of price. You see, what people invest in when they are buying your programs, especially if you're considering creating what is known as a high ticket program, a way for people to pay anywhere between two to above, like 2000 plus price point for any services that you provide, you have to understand that the goal of this price point is to offer a result and to be able to explain in a new way what you do, how it changes people's lives. You see, the way most musicians have been conditioned to believe they need to price their services is very much linked to the old models where you're trading your time for money, where it's a per hour basis, whether it's $100 per hour, $500 per hour, even $1,000 per hour. I don't care. It's this notion of per hour basis. And when you start shifting out of the traditional one-to-one type of teaching methodology or hourly work and shifting into a way where you can position a specific transformation and describe how your program will get your clients a new result in a quicker timeline than the way they were doing before. Now, what you're really selling is not your services. What you're really selling is not even the result necessarily, although that is part of it. What you're actually selling is giving back time to your prospects. You see, most affluent buyers, people who invest in themselves, whether it's for their musical development, for their creativity, for their careers, for their own needs, whatever that looks like, what they care more than anything is their time. People invest in winning back their time so that they can use it in things that matter to them in their lives, be with their family, take care of their health, focus on their creative projects, travel, whatever that looks like. People care about how they can win back their time. So if you're a musician and you've been struggling to justify higher price points and perhaps afraid that people would not want to pay for your services if you change your price points or that they're going to leave you, etc., it all comes down to your ability to describe and position the value of this new type of offer and how hopefully in designing it strategically, you will essentially be able to save people's time. So for example, we had one of our clients, Kevin Uri, who he was a university professor teaching music composition and theory, and he had been creating his own online program since 1997 for a long time. But he struggled to really price it according to the value that he was giving, and he was always underpricing his services, charging very low ticket, and he struggled to really build his online business into a reliable income stream for many, many years, decades. And applying the processes that he learned, working with me and my team, he was able to change his price point into a high ticket offer and be able to significantly win back his time because he no longer needed to be dependent on extra jobs, extra income opportunities, and be dependent on having a per hour type payment system. But it came down to being able to create an accelerated result. So in his case, he was teaching music composition and theory. And by redesigning his service so students could access him in a weekly group session and then through one-on-one interaction, asynchronously sending videos back and forth, plus a private client community where they could post questions and get feedback from Kevin. All of a sudden, what he would used to take maybe 2 years to get his students to get results, he could now achieve in 6 months because they had so many touch points with him. were able to ask questions and get that quick feedback, and just develop a mastery level at a quicker rate because they were not just seeing him very intermittently, right? So essentially, this is how, instead of spending 2 years working on a specific journey as it related to music composition, his students now only need 6 months. So when you think about your own price point as you're listening to this, my hope is that this is giving you some ideas, not just in terms of what how much you would want to charge in your offer. I mean, our clients charge their price points anywhere between two, three, four, five, six, seven, $8,000 plus for like a 6 month group program. That's the typical window of price points that high ticket programs are, kind of considered. Anything over 2K would be considered a high ticket price point. But the most important thing is that you understand how to communicate what will this new way of working with your students do for them. Not only will they learn at a faster pace, not only will they get results with more feedback, more constant redirection, but also essentially it will free up unnecessary practicing time. It will accelerate the learning journey so that they can actually get results in a shorter time span. And when you can communicate how your methodology, especially if you are open to integrating all of these different elements that we're talking about in this podcast all the time, that are not just the traditional one-on-one type format. If you're open to integrating ways to give feedback to your students and your clients on a regular basis in between your weekly group meetings, for example, and you're able to explain how these points of interaction will accelerate their learning, now you're actually selling time back. And when you understand that, you feel a lot clearer around the value of your services and how much it's actually worth. And honestly, if you think about it, it's almost impossible to truly quantify the value of what giving people time back can do. Like, think about it. If you could accelerate your learning journey on anything you're trying to do, whether you're trying to work in your business, whether you're trying to, get back your health, whether you're trying to improve your parenting skills, whether you're trying to become a more strategic copywriter, like learn about marketing and learn how to write better, communicate better, write better emails to your audience, whatever skill you're trying to acquire, if you could invest in learning that skill faster and therefore win yourself back 10, 20, 30 hours of your week or of your month, how could you even quantify the value of having, I don't know, 40 hours back in your month? Think about it. What could you do with those 40 hours that you now have back in your schedule? So many things are possible, right? So many things are opening up as you think about it. You could have more time with your loved ones. You could take better care of yourself. You could have more time to fulfill your creative projects. I mean, the sky's the limit. And if you were to truly quantify the value of having more time in your life, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to put a price point on what it would be worth to you to have more time with your family, to have more time for your creative projects. It's very difficult to actually put a number. That's how valuable it is. So when you think about your price point for your offers and you're wondering, well, if I'm going from charging, let's say $100 a lesson, right? And you're charging, let's say $400 for a month worth of lessons, to charging $5,000 for 6 months, right? And increasing your price point in that way, where now you're charging a lot more for the program. You're no longer just doing it per lesson. You need to be able to describe how will your new online program, especially if you incorporate all of the online asynchronous support elements that we talk about in this podcast, how will this help your clients get results faster? And whether you're trying to appeal to brand new clients or whether you're trying to appeal to your current clients, no matter which route you're going, the point is, if you want to raise your rates and feel okay in doing so and not allow insecurities to permeate your conversations, because if you are at any point when you're presenting your new price points and your new offers to people in your network, if there's a degree of uncertainty, of lack of confidence, of insecurity, that will come across in your conversations. Ultimately, people will always respond not just with what you do and the services and skills that you offer, but most importantly, they're going to connect with who you are as a human being, what your values are, what you stand for, what you stand against. And those are such important parts of your personality and your behavior that you need to you need to embody those qualities. You need to feel super clear and have this almost sense of gravity in you, that is an anger that emanates trust, that emanates you know, connection and you know, results, that is inspiring, that is worthy, right, of people's attention. And you can only communicate that and embody that if you are completely in congruence with what you say you want and with what you're actually able to do. So it goes without saying, kind of deviating a little bit from what I was talking to before, you need to be showing your own sense of leadership in every area of your life. You need to be, you know, really commanding your own alignment, because when you are feeling good about your life, about the things that matter to you, when you are protecting your energy, when you are protecting your state of mind, when you're protecting your physicality, when you're being mindful in your relationships, in your family, everything, then you're able to show up to these conversations and to share your work and your offers and your new price points from a place of true magnetism, because people can sense that alignment in you. So I want you to realize that raising your rates doesn't just, it's not just about the program services and offerings that you provide. It's not only about being able to position it strategically and being able to shape that perception of value, if you will. Yes, that's the first part of this. Yes, and that's why I started this podcast talking about it. But it's also about you stepping into a new level of being, in a way, a new identity, one that is constantly looking for ways of elevating your own self leadership, one that is constantly looking for ways to improve your state of mind, your habits, and to stay true to what you say you're going to do, right? One of the best ways to exude that self leadership energy, that presence that commands trust and authority in those around you, is by modeling the values that you communicate, that you portray, that you stand for, is by embodying them, by showcasing them in everything that you do. And if you cannot lead yourself, if you cannot keep your own promises, if you say you're going to wake up early to go to the gym, to prepare for the day, or to journal, or to meditate, or to practice, to do whatever is important to you, and you're constantly breaking your own promises, then that starts building a lack of trust in your own word. And therefore, it's harder for you to create that trust in people around you. So you may not have thought that I was going to go there in today's episode, but I really want to, because I've personally seen this in my life, you know, and I've had many instances when I was so focused on excelling in one area of my life, like in my business, in my work, that I would, you know, inadvertently overlook other areas of my life, like my health, like my relationships, my creativity, because I was so just focused on the task at hand, the project I was working on. And I could see things kind of fall out of alignment. And energetically, other areas of my life would fall apart as well. I was feeling, you know, with insomnia, I was not sleeping. I would see that it would be harder for me to really connect in sales conversations with prospects, even with my clients. I could feel that I wasn't fully charged, if you know what I mean. Have you ever felt that way? You know, where you're trying to kind of spin so many different wheels, and then you're starting to feel like you just cannot keep up with everything. And so, if you are not constantly looking for ways to realign your own life and balance the things that matter most to you, and you're just focused on one area of your life, anyone can focus on one area of their life. I really believe that when we obsess around something, anyone can be good at one thing. But the purpose of this podcast and the movement that I'm building with the Musicians Creating Prosperity movement is to help you create a life in alignment with what matters most to you, and to not have to sacrifice one area of your life in favor of the other, right? You get to be an amazing musician. You get to be an entrepreneur. You get to be a CEO. You get to be a parent if you need to be. You get to be a spouse, a wife, a husband. You get to be, you know, the best version of yourself through embodying the qualities that matter to you, and being the person that needs to become in order to build the business that you want to build. And if you want to raise your rates and you're not paying attention to your own ability to follow through on your own promises, and you're finding that you're constantly breaking your own rules, breaking your own promises, not showing up when you said you would, again, no one's looking, right? So it's so easy to just cheat on yourself. It's so easy to just let things slide. It's so easy to say, ah, I'll just do this tomorrow, because no one, like, you're not accountable to anyone other than yourself. It's much harder to do this with real people. Like, if you had to show up for your clients, you had to attend a meeting, you had an appointment with someone, chances are you're going to do everything you can to show up. It'll be very rare if you miss something. So sometimes when it comes to your own goals, your own appointments that you set with yourself, you may be missing those quietly, silently, under the radar. And yet, when you look at your business, when you look at having enrollment conversations, when you look at positioning your services, stepping into a place of authority, trying to be magnetic, trying to convey the value of your services, the value of your mission, connect with your true like sense of purpose and vision in life. If all these things I mentioned are not aligned, then your higher purpose, your higher mission, your higher vision and business, picture will also be compromised, directly or indirectly. So, yes, there's strategies, there's messaging strategies, there's positioning, there's the ability to communicate speed as the ultimate deliverable when you create more multifaceted online music programs. Yes, but also make sure that you don't overlook your own self leadership, your own ability to follow through on your promises, to show up when you said you would, to take those actions even when it feels uncomfortable, and to keep your promises to yourself. Because when you do, you will become magnetic. That confidence, that center of gravity will be an anchor, and people will feel it. Even before you say a word, people will sense that you are truly standing from a place of power. You are recharged. And if you're truly, committed to serving those in your community, you must lead yourself and show the best self leadership skills and keep promises to yourself, and look for areas of your life that are in misalignment and actively seek to balance them, actively seek to fix them. Do not ignore them, because they will come back. Whether you like it or not, it'll show up in your business. So I hope this serves as inspiration. Go fix the gaps in your life, try to address them, try to come to terms with them, be honest with yourself, and remember, pricing is just one part of a bigger puzzle. If you're confident in who you are as a human being, if you're proud of your own ability to follow through and keep your promises, you will be inspiring. People will invest in you, especially if you understand how to communicate the value of what you do and make it very clear how what you do can ultimately give people back their time. Remember, time is our most precious asset, is the one non-renewable resource that we cannot get back. It is the premium thing that people will always pay for, especially those who are affluent buyers who believe in investing in themselves, who are people committed to change, to growing in their perspective, to elevating their skills. Those are the people you want to be attracting, and those are the people you're only going to be able to attract when you become the same type of person. If you want to attract clients who are going to invest in themselves, who are going to be okay with your higher prices, who are going to value the offer that you made, who are going to see the value in winning back their time, you need to be the same type of client. You cannot attract who you're not, right? You cannot attract that who you're not. So if you want to attract people who believe in time management, who believe in valuing their time, you need to value your time. If you want to attract people who invest in themselves, who see the value, who take action, who are fast action takers, you need to be a fast action taker as well, right? All the things you want to attract, always ask yourself, am I acting in that way? Am I showcasing the qualities of those who I want to attract? If the answer is yes, congratulations. But if the answer is no, this is your wake up call to start changing things and start looking for ways where you can step up your own self leadership to become the person that your dreams require and to become the person that you want to attract in your music business. Until next time, let me know your takeaways. I'd love to hear from you, and leave us a review in the podcast if this is useful. I'd love to hear your feedback. This will allow us to spread the word with more members in our community. I look forward to our next episode. Until next time, let's prosper together.